Hello, my name is Jake, and I'm looking at starting the carnivore diet. And I feel like it's important to document where I'm at right now, so that as long as this diet moves forward, to see if there's any changes. I'm a big believer that, as you start doing something, you get used to it, so you don't really realize the results. So if I have this video to document where I'm at right now and why I'm actually starting this diet, I think it'll help me in the long run and maybe someone else to see, maybe motivate them to document their progress. Because if you don't know where you started, then how are you going to know if your results are actually working? So let me start off by saying my name is Jake. I just turned 30 years old. I'm currently in the military. I'll be getting out soon. And over the last year and a half, there's been a lot of things that have happened to me. That's really not saying that I'm super unhealthy, but there's just been a decline in certain areas of my health that I'm just not happy with anymore. And I'd like to discuss them. And these are some of the major reasons why I'm starting the carnivore diet. I'm not going to go too deep into what the carnivore diet is. Do your research for yourself. That's what I've been doing. I've read a book so far. I've watched a lot of YouTube videos and I've heard a lot of success stories. I've found that many of the unsuccessful stories maybe had some flaws in them, or I just didn't really agree with what they had to say. That's their opinion. That's how they feel about the diet. It didn't work for them, and that's perfectly fine. I do not disagree with them. I just feel like maybe their reasons aren't a reason why I would quit the carnivore diet. So let's go ahead and get started. I got my notes up here on the computer. I'm just going to kind of read them. So some of the big major factors that are causing me to start this diet as of recent are neck pain. So I've been getting this pain in my neck for the last year and a half. It may have been longer, but I added the year and a half ago mark. I went to the doctor and let them know that I was having pain. And they started out by just ordering the simple meds, muscle relaxers, Flexeril. I'm not sure, they might have given me ibuprofen. I'm not a big person to take ibuprofen. I was getting some headaches, not very frequent, but every once in a while I'd be getting headaches with it. And they ordered me, I don't know if it's called a prescription or a referral to physical therapy and chiropractor. So the pain that I was having was mostly in this lower part of my neck, and when I'd get the headaches, I could kind of feel like that was pulling on my head. It would get real bad some days to the point where it just would be real stiff and be causing me a lot of pain. And other days it would be moderate. Some days I wouldn't have any pain at all. So anyways, I did these rounds of physical therapy and the chiropractor. They also gave me a TENS unit I would use on my neck. And that seemed to help work out for a while. And really the neck pain wasn't affecting my life very much. About 6 months later, the neck pain started to get more severe and started to give me really bad headaches. I feel like when I get the neck pain that everything was just pulling, like the neck would hurt here and it just felt like everything was pulling down towards that neck. And I'd get these headaches, and we were maybe at the once a week mark, occasionally twice a week, but they would be severe enough that I would take a migraine, Excedrin type medicine. My Flexeril I would only take at night because it makes you drowsy. And so then they prescribed me more physical therapy, more chiropractor, and a new drug called Floricet, which is basically Tylenol oh, hold on, a screensaver. Tylenol, I think it's a barbiturate, which is kind of like a mild narcotic, and caffeine. So those three drugs are in one, and I could take that on the onset of a headache. They thought, or that drug is good for what they would call tension headaches, which would be caused from the pain in my neck, pulling on my head. So the doctor classified that as a tension headache. So I kept doing the physical therapy, and chiropractic became less and less just because of the situation of the chiropractor, to where I could only get seen so much. And that went on for, say, another 6 months. Headaches were getting closer to the 2 a week mark. I would experience pain first and then get the headache. The pain was almost constant, or every other day. And I was taking the Floricet, Excedrin, maybe Tylenol, and if I wasn't taking it maybe every day, but maybe every other day or every 3 days. Sometimes it would help the headache, sometimes it would lessen the headache, and sometimes it would get rid of the headache. Sometimes it wouldn't do anything at all. I just use my TENS unit, take hot showers, ice pack, cold pack, everything I could think of. I haven't missed any work because of it, but it just makes my work life a lot harder. And then, so now the last 6 months, headaches guaranteed. I get 2 a week. Very severe. And so I went back to the doctor and said, hey, physical therapy is not working. In fact, they taught me all the exercises. I don't really have any more sessions left to go to. They were doing traction on my neck, which I felt was giving me a lot of relief. Maybe not be solving the problem, but it was giving me relief. And so anyways, I went to the doctor, told them everything's just getting worse. So they ordered me an MRA of my neck and head, which basically checks all the vessels and then also checks the structure, muscles, the spine, everything in the neck, and then a referral to neurology. So I did the MRA. MRI was negative, nothing wrong. And I went to neurology, which is about 90 miles away from where I live. Neurologist, when I saw him, I told him my MRA was negative, told him my symptoms, and then he prescribed me another drug, gabapentin. I think the other name, I'm looking here, Neurontin. So gabapentin, Neurontin, it's the same thing. Take this one pill 3 times a day and then bump up to, I think, 2 pills 3 times a day. So 2 pills 3 different times in the day. So that'd be 6 pills in a day. And then he told me to stop taking Floricet, Excedrin. I could keep taking the Flexeril, which I take every night. And that gabapentin was the worst drug I ever took. Gave me extreme insomnia, made me very dizzy, and blurred vision. So I stopped just taking that drug altogether. When I went to my 1-month follow-up with the neurologist, I told him, hey, I quit taking the gabapentin. And so then he prescribed me amitriptyline. So I take 1 pill, I think they're 10 milligrams at bedtime. And then he told me in 2 to 3 weeks or a month, bump it up to 2 pills at bedtime. So that'll be 20 milligrams. And to come see him in 3 months. I would get a little nauseous sometimes with the migraines, so he prescribed me, uh, I don't know what these are called, but a pill you take for nausea. It's pretty common. Most people know what it is. It dissolves under your tongue. And I tell him, I just get nauseous every once in a while, but he told me just to take it anyways with the headache because it also does apparently help with the headache. So now we're at like the 5-month mark after I see him. And, I'm just staying pretty consistent. One thing I do like is my physical therapist continues to see me about once a month. I don't do anything at physical therapy, but my physical therapist at least is tracking my movement, my changes. We talk. I work in the hospital where he works, so we kind of BS about work, which is kind of nice. And he's tracking everything for me. He always measures, I don't know, all the angles. I can go this way and this way and this way and this way. Tells me how I'm doing. He checks my strength. He checks my reflexes and everything like that. Really good guy. I bounce ideas off of him and whatnot. So I do have one person tracking me very closely, and I do appreciate that. I bought one of those plexus wheels, or they're a big wheel. They're about this. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out this camera. It's about this wide, and it's about this big around. And you basically put it on the center of your back, and you can kind of roll on it, and is what it does. Supposedly, is decompresses your spine. I really focus on my neck. I also focus on this here, which opens up your chest and your T-spine, your pecs. And I do feel like I have kind of that rounded shoulders. Yes, I'm on the computer a lot. Yes, I'm on my phone a lot. So my physical therapist told me I need to focus on bringing my screen up and possibly getting a sit-to-stand desk. Also, when I'm on my phone, I'm more focused on bringing it up to my face instead of me looking down at it to kind of help that stress in the neck. At my work, I have 3 workstations. 2 of the workstations, I bought little stands to lift my monitor up so that my monitor is directly at eyesight, so I'm not looking down. And 1 computer workstation, I got a complete standing setup, so I'm standing as I'm using that one. I don't use that one very much, but it does require me to stand. It's a tight area, so I got a taller desk so that while I'm standing, the computer is again here. I also do a lot of IV injections in the day, and so I got a chair where I can boost the patient up a lot higher, so I'm bringing the arm closer up to me instead of having to be bent over when I'm trying to work on that patient. So all those things I feel has helped, and the ergonomics and everything is better. And that is probably one of the major things in my life right now that I'm dealing with is this pain. Like I said, it's been 1.5 years. Migraines have been for 1 year, consistent to a week. All my healthcare is free because I am in the military. The one thing though that I knew, and I told my wife, that these pills are not going to solve my problems. It's going to have to be something physical. So there is a massage place not too far from me, and before that I went to a massage place and just got a full body massage. They rubbed I just, got a full body massage. I was like, hey, I don't know what's wrong. I just want to get a massage to relax. Well, at the very end of the massage, I was laying on my back, and he was finished by rubbing my neck, these muscles right here. And out of everywhere in my body, when he was rubbing right here, I was in intense, extreme pain. I just wanted to scream, cry, whatever when he rubbed that area. And he only got to maybe spend 5-8 minutes on that area. But when he did that, I was like, okay, I really need to work on this area. So then I went to another massage therapist, and I go there once a week now, and he focuses on this area and other areas of my neck, the back base of my skull, to work that out. And every time I go to him, I seem to just be tense and tight. So, anyways, now I'm at 5 prescriptions that I can take. I take 2 over-the-counter meds as needed. Um, because I'm in the Army, I was working out, 5, 6 times a week. I can't work out anymore. My favorite activity is running. I love to run 2 to 4, sometimes 6, 8 miles. And that's kind of where I get my stress relief, where I like to live my life. I just love running. And the last almost 6 months, I've hardly done any exercise at all. And to me, that really is depressing. It sucks for me. Um, my class, I go to work full time, and then I do online classes. I'm currently taking 2 classes online. I find it very hard to do my classwork. No motivation at all, and some of it is due to the pain, and the other is due to, like, I just have a lack of motivation. So this is kind of like the mental health aspect of why I'm going to do the carnivore diet. I have a heavy brain fog and lack of energy. So more into the mental health physiology of myself. I do have a minor depression. Uh, I've It's hard for me to say this, but yes, I've had depression before. Um, my wife and I are currently separated, but it's by choice. We are still together. We're still married. We did it because I'll be getting out of the military soon. So I moved my family back home. I have 3 children. So we're separated. I'm in this apartment. She's in a house back home. She's doing school, and my kids are all enrolled in a school, which is great and everything, but there is a separation. We've been married for 7, 8 years, and it's hard. That plays a part in my depression, but there's something else going on that's just not me, not normal. My work is very stressful. I am a supervisor. I play a supervisory role, and that does take its toll. I've developed anxiety, which I've never experienced anxiety except for maybe test anxiety, which I think is normal, maybe butterflies or whatever. And my anxiety, when I do get it, isn't as bad as like pre-test, but this anxiety is enough to where it keeps me up at night. And I think about just a bunch of crazy things that probably don't really matter and aren't important, but my brain just runs like crazy about things. And then also, sleep. I do have a lack of sleep. The only way I can sleep is if I take my meds, my amitriptyline, my Flexeril. Sometimes I'll take a Benadryl. I'll take those sleeping pills that are over the counter. But if I don't take something at night, I will not sleep, no matter how tired I am. I will just think and think and think about stuff, which I don't know. I don't know if that's normal for me or not, but I don't like it. Um, this is important. It's kind of weird to talk about, but my sexual health seems to be fine. I don't seem to be lacking in that area besides just being separated from my spouse. So, like I said, I'm just documenting everything so that I have something to compare to. So, a little history on me in diet and exercise is I don't have a formal education on diet, but I have studied it. I do understand macros, I do understand nutrition, what it does to your body. A few years ago, my wife and I started with the paleo diet. We did it very, very hardcore, and we were also working out. and I was 205, 210, 215, somewhere in that range weight. And within 4 months of paleo, I got down in the 180s. And I would have to look and see what my lightest weight is. But while I was doing paleo, I think I got down to 172, 171. I was running a lot. I loved it. And then for whatever reason, I decided I wanted to start bulking. So I figured I couldn't bulk on paleo. So I started IIFYM, if it fits your macros. And I just tried to hit a certain calorie amount. I was lifting a lot of weights. I didn't run as much. And let's just say a couple, then some time went by and I just didn't do anything. I just ate whatever. I was working out some. And then about, I want to say 2 years ago, I was like, okay, I was back in the 200s. I wanted to lose weight. So I learned about keto. I did keto. Was working out pretty hardcore. I got down in the 180 mark range from the 200 very quickly. And then once again rebounded, stopped doing keto, got back up to the 200s. And then I was like, hey, I need to do keto again. And then I lost some, got down to the 180s again. This was, I think, last winter, I did that. I did it until April. And then March or May, it came around and just went back to it. And then this summer is when I moved my family back. And then I tried to do keto again, but with the pain that I'm in, it's just, to me, hard to stay on a diet because the last thing you want to think about when you're in pain is a diet. I'm just checking my notes here. So that's where I am. Within the last 2 weeks, I've been doing keto again. Very strict. I do have not even a caffeine addiction, but also a energy drink addiction. So I'm gonna have to quit that. I will drink coffee on the carnivore diet to help. I gotta quit all the sodas. I drink a lot of diet soda, even diet Sprite or the Walmart version of diet Sprite, which I know there's a lot of stuff that's not in there that's good. So I'm going to start this diet on Tuesday. Today's the 16th of January. So let me just look at this calendar real quick, if it'll pop up. Look at my phone. So Tuesday is the 21st is when I'm going to start this diet. I'm looking at my thing here, and I think I've been doing keto since the 6th or 7th of January. So I've been doing keto for 10 days. So that should kind of help in the process of going to carnivore. And so is what I did the other day is I went to Costco and I stocked up. I bought 10 pounds of ground beef, 10 pounds of steaks, ribeyes half, New York strip the other half. And I bought, because I'm addicted to caffeine, I bought a bunch of these. They're Italian waters. They're mineral water with carbon dioxide or the fizzle, the bubbles, because that's what I really like about energy drinks and coffee, or not coffee, but sodas. So that will kind of help me with the addiction. And there's nothing in here but water and minerals. I am very salt savvy. I put a lot of it on my foods. I put it in my coffee. The last couple of days I've been trying bulletproof coffee just because I know that's what I'm going to have to get used to on carnivore. I probably will use salt and pepper on my foods. Maybe not a lot of pepper anymore. I think once I run out of pepper, which I don't have much left, I'm going to quit using it. I will eat eggs, meat, and I may dabble in cheese. Maybe when I have to eat out, I'll get like a cheeseburger or a bacon cheeseburger. I'm gonna maybe experiment with cream, but I have a little bit left. When I run out, maybe I'll just stick with butter. I do plan on drinking some tea because sometimes in the afternoon when I do have that headache, some of the medicines that I do take, which I forgot to mention, the neurologist did prescribe me a migraine medicine, but it makes me feel really weird, and caffeine seems to help with that weird feeling. So I'll use that tea or coffee. I do have a bunch of green tea that I'll drink. And yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm about 6 foot tall right now. Weighed myself today and yesterday. I'm around 185 pounds. I did take some pictures, which I'll post. I do have a belly that I'm not happy with. When I was down in that 170 range, when I was doing paleo, I, kind of had maybe not a full developed six pack, but you could at least tell that I had abs. I'm not really too worried about that. I do want to look good this summer, um, but let's post some goals because I think that having goals for this documentation will be important. I think my first and I would do want to mention one more thing. I do have stomach issues every once in a while after eating, not maybe once every 2 weeks, upset stomach, really gassy. My bowels have always been consistent in the inconsistency, which I would say I have a bowel movement twice every 3 weeks. And consistency is very variable. I don't do well with alcohol. Gives me even if I have one beer, one glass of wine, one whatever, or a bunch, I will have a hangover for the